survived.
What's up, you guys? I'm here at RebelScumCon, and I'm here with Noshir Dalal. First of all, I've been trying to get here for the past 2 days. The line's been crazy, so I just don't have a chance to do it. So thank you so much for making time for me today. Also, got to have you hold this, which was honestly the coolest reaction. I was
Dagon Gera saber.
No, it's yours now. Technically, it's yours now after you died.
Insane. I love it.
So my question, I have a couple questions, but obviously is how much did you know of the game? So obviously when Dagon dies, the game is called Survivor. Cal's not the survivor in the title. It's
Right.
You are the survivor.
Right.
Did you know that ahead of time, or did you find out maybe playing the game?
So there's a couple of stages to that answer. When I originally auditioned, it was the Bode Cal scene where he's like, if you want to save your family, you need to leave, you need to get him out of here right now.
That was wild hearing that in person.
Yeah.
'Cause I only hear it in the game and into the saber. So now I hear it in person. It's so cool.
But I didn't realize in the script they didn't give any clue that it was Star Wars. And so it talked about I think it was said something I assumed it was a motorcycle gang thing,
Okay.
and it says Bode puts down his weapon, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And so what I did, I'm a firearms guy. I do a lot of tactical weaponry work for the video games, The Last of Us and whatever. So I had my 1911, and when I finally made the decision to be cool, I put it down on the table. Then I'm talking to Cal, and then when Cal, it didn't say Cal, and when Cal walks off, I actually pulled the concealed gun I had from my from my pants, from my front carry, just to be and if he turns around, I'm gonna plug him. You know what I mean? And the director was like, oh, I see what you did.
I like it.
So I kind of caught on to
that's how you got the part.
A bit of duplicity.
Yeah.
It was cool. And then he was like, so do you know what this is? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, this is Star Wars. And I was like, well, I feel really stupid having a pistol right now. But
and then he ends up using a pistol in the game.
yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, so when I got cast, my agent was like, you got cast as, Bode Akuna. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And they're like, and casting wanted us to tell you that you're gonna get to be a Jedi. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a good guy. I'm gonna fight alongside Cal, and I'll probably get killed because I'm a good guy, but it'll be awesome. And then I read the script, and I'm like, oh, cool. And then oh my God, and it was one of those, and I was like, no, oh my God, no, so, but
That's awesome. I love to hear that.
it was
That's
a
so
wild
awesome.
journey.
I can't imagine what you went through for that.
I'm gonna share a little bit of behind the scenes lore for you.
Oh.
So a lot of people talk about how Bode staying behind, right? They were like, that's the moment. I knew he was a shady mofo, you know what I mean? And then later he pulls out Dagon's lightsaber, and people are like, he stole Dagon's lightsaber. He's a shady dude. So the headcanon that I talked to the team about, it never really made it into the game overtly. But what I explained is every time Bode kills a Jedi, because he's an assassin, right?
Yeah.
And he's basically a wolf for hire, or owned by the ISB. And every time he kills a Jedi, he destroys the lightsaber and he keeps the Kyber crystal, because the last thing he'd want is for a lightsaber to be turned against his fellow Jedi. It's the only form of resistance he has.
And then he ends up doing it himself.
And so, in the scene where they're at the Imperial base, right, and Kata's looking for her Mookie doll, the reason that I told the dev team is because Bode hid all, before they were going to leave, if Cal had entered earlier, there would be essentially a little shrine, and it's just it's a mound of Kyber crystals, right? From all the Jedi he's killed, because that's his penance, right?
Yeah.
That's the price it's a burden he bears for committing a sin against his brothers and sisters. But when they're gonna leave, he can't leave them there, right? So he hides them in the Mookie doll, which is why she can't find it, right? And then at the end, she burns the doll on the pyre. So in a way, Bode takes that burden with him
I wish that was a
to be done.
DLC. I
Yeah.
wish that was a DLC. That would have been so good. That explains why he was so hesitant to even fight back against Cal. So
Yeah.
he realized, I have to fight to survive now.
Well, so, and one of the things I talked about early on with the team was like, to do my job well, I have to emotionally break Cal Kestis.
Yeah.
And the only way I can do that is if I find a way to get Cal to love me as a brother. And I think the journey for me as Bode, right, is this is a man who was a believer in the cause. Like, he worked for like Republic intelligence. He was essentially like Jedi IAB, right? He was a Jedi that was out there to govern other Jedi, so that you don't have like douches like you see in some of the Clone Wars, right? Some
Exactly.
of these terrible Jedi out there doing horrible shit. And for the first time, he realizes like this is the family he could have.
But he knows
Right.
what he has to do.
Right, because like, can you imagine if Kata had an uncle like Cal?
Yes.
And an aunt like Marin, right?
Should have
and
been
like grew up
protected
around,
the
yeah,
entire time. Or it could have been a Jedi.
right. But like,
Wow.
he knows it'll never happen, right? And by the time, so he commits an act that he knows he'll never be able to come back from, which is killing Eno Cordova, right? And Eno Cordova has the gift of foresight,
Yep.
right? So when he confronts him, I think, so when we originally we're like laying out the game, in that moment, what happens is, oh my God, like the Empire is here, whatever, and then they turn around and Bode is confronted by Cordova. You know, Cal's like, what are you doing? And Bode just ices Cordova, walks out, thermal detonator behind the back, and just, you know. But for me, it was like, I think if we do that, then Bode is just another turncoat villain.
Yeah, you're right. You still want to kind of love him too.
Yeah, well, and
Yeah.
also like Cordova has the opportunity to have a moment here, right? And
Yeah.
so and they actually let us kind of like, I sat there talking with Tony, like trying to figure it out, and because the other part is like Cordova is like a character I love from
Yeah.
Fallen Order, and to have him just go out like that
Yeah.
would suck.
And you did it.
But if Cordova's last moment is a moment of foresight, where he sees the road that Bode is going down, and instead of cutting him down or trying to force him to do something, instead he does the thing that Bode has not had in a long time, which is to have a mentor put his hand on him and say,
Right, he does.
you don't have to do this, right? And in that moment, Bode has a choice. He could surrender and possibly have his newfound family and all that he's ever dreamed of having for a long time, but potentially at the cost of Kata. Or he can stay the course
Yep.
and rescue Kata, which is the only thing he cares about. And so in that moment, in that fork in the road, he makes a decision that he knows he'll never be able to come back from. And he kills Cordova, right? Because in doing that, he knows Cal will never take him back, which means that he will not have ground to retreat from. He is now, that is him committing to saving his daughter at all costs, right?
Jeez. Now I have to replay the game again. So I'm gonna be streaming on the channel again. I got just two more questions. How much, obviously...
I'm sorry, I just went
obviously-
off on a rant.
No, I loved it. You said stuff that I didn't even know happened, so that's awesome. Obviously, you look like him.
Yeah.
They took your character model, they scanned you and everything else. Did you do motion capture for it?
Yes, full performance capture.
Fighting and everything? Against Cal?
So Darren Ross is the fight coordinator
Okay.
for the Jedi series, both Fallen Order and Survivor. And the dude, Darren Ross is one of the most amazing people you'll ever meet, and he surrounds himself with a team that does just the craziest stuff. So like, they're doing wire work, sword work, gun work. The really cool thing, and like, a lot of it, unfortunately, I actually do combat and stunts, but the director did not allow me to do my own stunts because I think he was worried if I got hurt, it would be bad, and that really made me crazy. But like, I understand where he's coming from.
100%.
But I do a lot of tactical weaponry work. So one of the things I did do was Darren recorded me doing like, well, how would double guns work? How would that
Yes.
work for double pistols? How would it work with a lightsaber and pistol? And he would record me doing like dynamic entries and how that would work. How would I guard corners and stuff like that? And then I would kind of show the stunt team what Bode would do so that they could take that in and like make that part of his thing. Like there's a couple of things that are kind of like, with a blaster that has no moving parts, you would never know this, but with a gun that actually has a slide that reciprocates, right? If you shoot like this, that slide will hit your body and potentially have a misfeed, right? So you cant the gun, right? You tilt it so that slide is free to fire, which is why Bode shoots like this. Even though the gun is a blaster, right? He's trained so that even if he's using mechanical ballistics, he's always doing the thing that'll ensure he can fire the next round.
So you had a big part exactly how his movement were.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And it's nice to be able to put your stamp on something like that.
So now if you ever replay the game, you're like, I did that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. But like, not I did that, but like we did that, and I got to be a part of it. Because like the team, Darren Ross and his team, they are the reason Bode looks as cool as he does. Like, I could never do any of that stuff at the level that they do. They're incredible, and like my hat's off to them. Without them, Bode would not be nearly as badass as he is, and I owe them huge thanks.
That's the only reason why I bought it. So, I mean.
It's awesome.
And then the last one, and honestly, I feel like you answered the question for me now because of what could have been, or what I think now should have been in the DLC. Would you want to replay as Bode prior to Survivor, as well as a possible DLC of him hiding those crystals?
Oh, dude.
Or return to Red Dead Redemption as Charles?
I have to choose?
Yes.
I don't like you. You're mean, man. You're mean.
Because I'd want to see both. But if I had to choose one, I'd have to see you as Bode. Because everything you said, if I could just close my eyes, imagine all that, that's an amazing game. But now Red Dead Redemption is also a phenomenal game.
So I love them both, and I do love Charles. I think the one thing I will say is like, so I truly believe we never actually see Bode doing what he does best, which is killing Jedi. He pushes Cal to the breaking point because he needs to know that Cal will go to any lengths to keep Kata safe. And until he knows that, he cannot let it go.
True.
But he also knows he's too far gone to be a good father to her.
Yeah.
So to take on that mantle, Cal has to kill him and take that mantle from him, right? That is the final test. But he doesn't want to kill Cal.
Yeah.
It's why when he's in the ground and pound and BD1 comes in, right? Everyone's like, I fucking hate you for slapping BD. But if you look at what happens, he goes, bah, 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 bah. BD comes in and he pauses for a minute, and then he goes, bah, right, and moves him out of the way.
Because you realize it's another family member,
right?
Like he's hitting.
Because I could crush him like a can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But instead, I bat him aside because he's like the family dog.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt him.
Exactly.
You know, and it breaks my heart that he's jumping in to try to protect his master.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, I also have to see this through. And I think that kind of stuff, like, that's what broke my heart about Bode. Like, he isn't fully gone.
Yeah.
And he hasn't, like, lost his shit.
It's still there.
He just has nowhere else to go, you know? And so he makes the final sacrifice of himself to ensure that Cal will step up and do the lethal thing if he has to. But also in doing so, he inadvertently, like, breaks his best friend.
See? That's the game I want to see.
Yeah.
Dude, seriously, I appreciate you. Seriously.
Dude,
this is
my pleasure,
honestly, my best experience since Celebration this year.
Awesome,
honestly.
Well,
Seriously, thank you.
Mine,
I appreciate
bro.
you, man. Seriously.
You're awesome. Thanks for the great questions.